Welcome to Sleepy Atom, where gentle whispers guide you into the deepest, most restorative sleep. Tonight, we drift together into a soothing near-death experience unlike any other. A peaceful journey to the library of unfinished books. Imagine your body growing heavy, your breath slowing as a soft, warm light begins to envelop you. There is no fear here, only boundless love and curiosity. You feel yourself lifting, floating upward, leaving the weight of the day behind. Ahead, an endless hall of glowing shelves appears, filled with books that shimmer like starlight. These are the stories of souls, the unfinished chapters, the dreams left open, the lives still brimming with possibility. Each book holds a piece of someone's essence, waiting not in sadness, but in gentle anticipation. The air is calm, scented with vanilla and old paper, and a quiet presence welcomes you without words. You are safe. You are loved beyond measure. Let the soft turning of pages lull you as we begin our peaceful exploration. Breathe deeply now and allow sleep to carry you into this eternal, tranquil library. As you settle deeper into your bed, feel the warmth spreading from your toes to the crown of your head. The light grows brighter yet softer, like moonlight on still water. You find yourself standing at the entrance of a vast, domed chamber that stretches infinitely in every direction. The shelves rise gently toward a ceiling of swirling nebulae, and every book glows with its own quiet hue, some pale gold, others soft lavender or sea green. These are not ordinary books, they are the unfinished dreams of every soul who has ever lived. Each volume contains moments left unexplored, kindnesses yet to be given, laughter still waiting to echo. There is no judgment here, only acceptance. A gentle guide, more feeling than form, brushes against your awareness, inviting you to walk forward. Your footsteps make no sound on the marble floor that reflects starlight. You reach out and touch a book. Its cover is warm, pulsing faintly like a resting heart. As your fingers trace the title, written in a script that shifts to words you somehow understand, you sense the dream inside, a child's wish to paint the sky, a lover's unspoken promise, a traveler's road not taken. None are lost. All are held in perfect peace, free to resume whenever the soul chooses. The library hums with quiet possibility, a lullaby of what could still be. Pages rustle softly in an unfelt breeze, soothing your mind. Every breath you take draws in calm, releasing any lingering tension. You glide further in, surrounded by millions of glowing stories, yet feeling utterly alone in the most comforting way. The light wraps around you like a blanket, and sleep begins to claim you fully. You are exactly where you are meant to be, cradled in the eternal library of unfinished dreams. Let go now. Drift completely into peace. Your body is now completely relaxed, heavier than the softest feather on the bed. The light carries you forward, and you sense yourself moving through a corridor lined with archways of pale ivory. Each arch opens into another wing of the library, but tonight we follow the whispers, soft, melodic voices that sound like distant wind chimes made of memory. These are the lost stories, the tales that slipped away in the rush of living, the words never spoken, the songs never sung. Yet here, nothing is truly lost. The books float gently at eye level, their pages turning on their own, releasing faint wisps of silver light that dance in the air like fireflies. You hear a whisper brush past your ear, a grandmother's recipe never passed down, a friendship paused mid-laughter, a quiet act of courage left uncelebrated. Each whisper carries no regret, only tenderness. You reach for a small, leather-bound volume that feels familiar. As it opens in your hands, scenes unfold not on the page, but in the air around you. soft images of moments that might have been. A child chasing bubbles in summer rain, an elder watching sunrise one last time with quiet gratitude. The images dissolve into sparkling dust that settles over you like the gentlest snow. The library's silence deepens, broken only by the soothing rustle of pages and those loving whispers. They tell you that every story, even the lost ones, contributes to the great tapestry of existence. Nothing you have lived or left unfinished is wasted. All is held here in perfect, unconditional love. Your mind softens further, thoughts slowing to the rhythm of your breath. The whispers grow quieter, more intimate, lulling you toward sleep. You feel an overwhelming sense of being seen, known, and cherished exactly as you are. The journey beyond is not an ending, but a gentle pause, a place to rest among stories that wait patiently for tomorrow. Allow the whispers to carry you deeper now into the softest slumber. The light has become a warm cocoon, and you are floating effortlessly through the grandest hall yet. Columns of translucent crystal rise around you, reflecting infinite shelves that disappear into misty horizons. This is the Hall of Unwritten Tales, the purest, most peaceful section of the library. Here reside the stories that have not yet begun, the books of pure potential, their pages blank and glowing with soft white light. There is profound beauty in their emptiness, for they hold every possibility without limitation. You drift closer to one such book, larger than the others, its cover made of something like living pearl. When you touch it, a wave of calm washes over you deeper than any ocean. Visions arise gently, not of specific events, but of feelings, boundless creativity, quiet joy, the thrill of discovery yet to come. You understand that your own life is one of these unwritten tales, still open, still brimming with chapters waiting to be lived. There is no hurry here. Time itself feels like a distant memory, replaced by an eternal now filled with serenity. Soft chimes ring somewhere far away, each note releasing tension you didn't know you carried. Your eyelids grow impossibly heavy, though you are already beyond the physical. The blank pages seem to breathe with you, in and out, matching the slow rhythm of your deepening relaxation. Other unwritten books drift closer, forming a gentle circle around you, their light merging into a single, comforting glow. You are suspended in the heart of pure possibility, where nothing is demanded and everything is allowed. Sleep flows into you now like warm honey, sweet and inevitable. Every cell of your being releases into this soothing slumber. The hall holds you tenderly, promising that tomorrow, or whenever you return, new words can begin to appear on these pages if you wish. For now, simply rest. Be cradled in the quiet perfection of the unwritten. A gentle current of light lifts you higher, and the library expands into a celestial realm where shelves curve like galaxies. Stars twinkle between the books, and soft nebulae drift lazily overhead. This is the celestial library of incomplete books, the place where every soul's ongoing story is lovingly preserved. The volumes here are mid-chapter, their endings open and luminous. You feel drawn to a section bathed in rose-gold light. Books hover in slow spirals, each one radiating warmth. As you approach, you sense countless lives in gentle pause, artists mid-brushstroke, healers mid-prayer, explorers mid-stride. None feel interrupted, all feel perfectly timed. You select a book at random. Its cover shows a simple image of an open door. Inside, the pages reveal fragments of beauty, half-written poems that still rhyme in the heart, melodies missing only their final note, conversations waiting for the perfect moment of understanding. Reading them brings no sadness, only a profound peace that everything continues exactly as it should. A soft presence envelops you, conveying without words that your own incomplete book is here too, glowing brightly, its next pages shimmering with invitation rather than obligation. You feel lighter than air, worries dissolving into the starlit atmosphere. The celestial quiet deepens, and your breath becomes part of the library's gentle rhythm. Pages turn slowly around you, creating a soothing whisper that massages away the last traces of wakefulness. You are floating fully now, cradled by the incomplete yet perfect stories of the universe. Sleep embraces you completely, deep and dreamless or filled with soft light, whichever your soul needs tonight. Relax entirely, float without effort. The celestial library will hold you until morning, safe in its loving, unfinished glow. Whispered peace, exploring the library of forgotten chapters. The light around you softens into a pale, comforting mist, and you feel yourself gliding into a quieter wing of the library. The shelves here are carved from warm cedar, their surfaces etched with delicate vines that seem to breathe slowly. This is the place of forgotten chapters, moments that slipped from memory in the rush of earthly days, yet nothing is ever truly forgotten here. Each book glows with a gentle amber hue, inviting rather than demanding attention. You drift closer, and a volume catches your awareness, its spine marked with faint silver script that reshapes itself into words you recognize. A childhood afternoon spent lying in grass watching clouds, the scent of rain on hot pavement, a quiet conversation with someone long gone. As your hand brushes the cover, the forgotten chapter unfolds not as regret, but as a tender gift. Soft images rise around you like steam from warm tea, laughter that faded too soon, small kindnesses overlooked, dreams set aside for practical things. All of them are held here in perfect suspension, bathed in unconditional understanding. There is no sorrow, only a deep, soothing peace that washes through you, releasing any lingering ache you might carry. The pages turn slowly on their own, each rustle a whisper of forgiveness and acceptance. You realize these chapters were never meant to weigh you down. They simply paused, waiting for this moment of gentle remembrance. The air grows heavier with calm, scented faintly with lavender and old parchment. Your breath matches the unhurried rhythm of the library itself, slow and deep. Another book floats nearer, offering a chapter of your own life you had almost let go, a moment of pure joy, now restored in luminous detail. Feel the warmth spread through your chest, melting away tension. You are enveloped in whispered peace, cradled by stories that needed no completion, only love. Sleep draws closer now, soft and inevitable. Allow these whispers to carry you deeper into the quiet heart of forgotten yet cherished chapters. A gentle current of light guides you onward, and the vast dome above shifts into a night sky filled with slow-moving constellations made of tiny, glowing books. You have entered the serene archive of unfinished lives, a boundless gallery where every soul's ongoing story rests in perfect tranquility. The shelves curve gracefully like riverbanks, and the books here pulse with soft, steady heartbeats of light. No life feels cut short. Each simply pauses in this sacred space, open and luminous. You move slowly among them, sensing the presence of countless journeys, some spanning decades, others mere moments, all equally precious. One book drifts into your hands, its cover woven from threads of dawn-colored silk. As it opens, you glimpse not endings but gentle continuations, souls resting between chapters, gathering strength for whatever comes next. Scenes appear softly. A weary traveler finding shade beneath an ancient tree, a creator stepping back from the canvas to breathe, a heart learning to trust again after hurt. All are bathed in serene golden light, free from urgency. You understand that your own unfinished life is here too, its pages still warm, still writing themselves in ways beyond conscious knowing. The archive hums with quiet reassurance. There is no rush, no failure in the pause, only deep, restorative peace. Soft chimes resonate through the air, each note loosening the last threads of daily worry from your mind. Your body, though far away on your bed, feels completely weightless, sinking deeper into the mattress as sleep begins to claim you fully. The books around you form a protective circle, their light merging into a single, comforting glow that cradles your entire being. Every breath draws in serenity, releasing anything that no longer serves. You are held in the gentle embrace of unfinished lives, all continuing perfectly in their own time. Let the voyage carry you now, deeper and deeper, into the softest, most healing slumber. The light folds gently around you like silk, and you begin a slow, peaceful descent into an even deeper level of the library. The space opens into infinity. No walls, no ceiling, only endless rows of shelves drifting in soft currents of pale blue luminescence. This is the infinite library of unended narratives, where stories flow without conclusion, weaving and reweaving in eternal possibility. Each book is unbound, its pages floating freely yet perfectly ordered, turning in slow spirals that create faint breezes of calm across your awareness. You feel yourself sinking deeper, every layer of tension dissolving as you descend. A cluster of pages gathers before you, forming a book just for this moment. Words appear and rearrange themselves into scenes of pure potential, paths branching gently in forests of light, rivers of time meandering without destination, hearts open to whatever arises next. There is profound beauty in their lack of ending. Nothing forced, nothing incomplete in the earthly sense, only boundless continuation. The narratives brush against you like cool water, soothing every corner of your mind. You sense the unended stories of those you love, of strangers across time, of your own soul across lifetimes, all flowing together in harmonious quiet. A deep calm settles into your bones, heavier and sweeter than any blanket. Your thoughts slow to the pace of drifting clouds, each one dissolving harmlessly into the infinite space. The library breathes with you, in and out, matching the rhythm of perfect rest. Pages rustle softly all around, creating a lullaby older than stars. You are descending fully now, carried by the gentle gravity of peace itself. Sleep opens beneath you like the softest bed of feathers, inviting complete surrender. Nothing needs finishing tonight. Everything is already whole in its unending flow. Release fully into this calm descent, deeper and deeper, until only serene slumber remains. The glow around you dims to the tenderest candlelight, and silence envelops you like the quietest snowfall. You have arrived in the gentle library of abandoned pages, a hushed sanctuary where words once begun were set aside, not in neglect, but in perfect timing. The shelves here are low and curved, almost like cradling arms, crafted from pale birch that radiates warmth. Books rest half open, their pages fluttering faintly as if breathing in sleep. Nothing feels forsaken. Every abandoned page is cherished here, held in soft light that reveals delicate watermarks of intention and care. You drift among them, sensing the tender reasons stories paused, a change of heart, a new direction, the simple need for rest. One small volume settles into your awareness, its pages edged in silver. As you touch it, the abandoned words rise gently, not demanding completion, but offering quiet beauty. Half-formed poems that still sing, sketches of dreams left mid-line, letters begun with love and set aside for later. All glow with forgiveness and understanding. The silence deepens, broken only by the softest rustle when a page turns on its own. This sound becomes a heartbeat of peace, slowing your own pulse to match its gentle cadence. Tension you carried from the day melts away, replaced by the profound comfort of acceptance. You realize that abandoning a page is sometimes the kindest act, allowing space for something new, or simply honoring the moment's truth. The light caresses your awareness, wrapping you in unconditional tenderness. Your mind grows beautifully empty, thoughts dissolving into the welcoming silence. Sleep approaches like a dear friend, arms open wide. The abandoned pages form a soft bed of light beneath you, cradling every part of your being. Nothing needs to be finished, nothing needs fixing. You are perfectly held in this gentle library, where silence and soft light weave the deepest rest. Let go completely now, sinking into the sweetest slumber. A warm, enveloping haze of light draws you into the most intimate wing yet, the shelves of unfinished soul stories. Here, the books are smaller, more personal, each one radiating a unique signature of light that feels like recognizing an old friend. The shelves spiral gently upward and downward, creating cozy alcoves filled with cushions of cloud-like mist. This is where the deepest essence of every soul rests between expressions, its story forever unfolding. You settle into one such alcove, surrounded by volumes that pulse softly with colors only your heart can name. A book finds its way to you, its cover bearing no title, only a faint imprint of your own soul's light. As it opens, fragments of your unfinished story appear not as words but as feelings. Moments of courage still ripening, loves still deepening across time, wisdom gathering quietly like dew. None demand completion, all simply are, held in loving suspension. Other soul stories drift close, ancestors, future selves, beings you've touched without knowing, all sharing this peaceful pause. The air is thick with gentle understanding, scented with something like warm bread and starlight. Every breath you take draws in this nourishment, filling you with quiet certainty that your soul's story is eternally safe, eternally becoming. The shelves rock almost imperceptibly like a cradle, lulling your awareness into deeper relaxation. Your body, far away, sinks fully into the bed, heavy and blissfully still. Thoughts fade to whispers, then to silence. The unfinished soul stories glow brighter for a moment, as if smiling, then dim to the perfect level for sleep. You are surrounded, supported, deeply known. Nothing is missing. Everything continues beautifully. Sleep flows into you now, complete and restorative, carrying you among these sacred shelves until morning light gently calls you back. For now, simply rest. Fall completely asleep, cradled forever in the tender glow of unfinished soul stories. The warm light that has guided you thus far now pulses gently, like a heartbeat inviting you deeper. You feel yourself transitioning smoothly, effortlessly, into a vast, open expanse where the library reveals its true, boundless nature. The shelves here extend in every direction, curving and spiraling like the arms of a loving galaxy, each one lined with books that shimmer with soft, ever-shifting colors. This is the place of eternal possibilities, where every unfinished thread of life branches into infinite gentle paths. No story is fixed. All are fluid, open, waiting in perfect patience. You glide forward, your awareness light and free, as a book drifts toward you on an unseen breeze. Its cover is translucent, revealing layers of potential scenes beneath. Moments that could unfold in countless ways, all bathed in tender light. As you touch it, a wave of profound tranquility washes over you, dissolving any subtle remnants of earthly concern. Visions arise softly, choices not yet made blooming into beautiful outcomes, dreams paused, now ready to resume in new forms, connections across time weaving seamlessly. There is no pressure here, only the soothing assurance that every possibility exists in harmony. Pages turn lazily around you, each rustle a whisper of encouragement, reminding you that your own life holds endless, gentle turns ahead. The air is filled with a faint, comforting hum, like distant ocean waves or a lullaby from childhood. Your breath slows to match this rhythm, drawing in peace with every inhale, releasing the day completely with every exhale. Other books join the first, forming a soft constellation around you, their lights merging into a cocoon of warmth. You feel deeply supported, as if the entire library is breathing with you, cradling your essence in unconditional love. Thoughts soften and fade, leaving only pure, restful awareness. Sleep begins to embrace you fully now, deep and nurturing, carrying you through this tranquil transition. Wander freely here, safe in the knowledge that all possibilities are eternal, all paths loving. Let go completely, sinking into the softest slumber amid endless gentle wonders. A profound silence settles over you, deeper and more comforting than any you have known, as the light dims to a hushed, silvery glow. You have entered the realm of unwritten endings, a sacred space where conclusions are not imposed, but allowed to remain open in perfect harmony. The shelves are tall and ancient, carved from moonlit stone, holding volumes that radiate quiet contentment rather than longing. Each book represents an ending that chose not to close, preferring the beauty of continuation in subtle ways. You move slowly through this realm, feeling the harmony resonate in every part of your being, aligning your breath, your heartbeat, your thoughts into one gentle flow. A book approaches, its pages edged in faint starlight, and as your fingers brush its surface, scenes unfold like mist rising from a calm lake, farewells that became new beginnings, chapters paused to allow deeper growth, lives transitioning without finality. All are held in hushed acceptance, no sorrow touching them, only the serene beauty of what is. The realm's silence is alive, filled with unspoken understanding that unwritten endings are the kindest gift, allowing souls to evolve eternally. Soft chimes echo faintly, each note releasing waves of relaxation that travel from your crown to your toes. Your body, distant on the bed, grows impossibly heavy, sinking deeper into rest as tension evaporates completely. The books around you begin to hum in low, harmonious tones, a lullaby crafted just for this moment, soothing your mind into beautiful emptiness. You are enveloped in this hushed harmony, feeling utterly at peace with every aspect of your journey. Nothing needs resolution tonight. Everything rests in loving suspension. Sleep flows into you now, rich and restorative, carrying you deeper into the realm where endings are forever unwritten, forever kind. Rest fully, cradled in this perfect, silent harmony. The light gathers around you now, not bright, but infinitely gentle, wrapping you in an embrace that feels like the arms of pure love itself. You find yourself in a cozy, rounded chamber where the walls are made of living light, and the books rest patiently on low, curved shelves, each one glowing with soft anticipation. This is the library where books await completion, not in urgency, but in the tender patience of eternal time. Every volume here holds stories paused mid-breath, waiting for the perfect moment to continue, surrounded by unconditional support. You settle into this embrace, feeling the light seep into every cell, warming and relaxing you beyond measure. A book nestles close, its cover soft as velvet, and as it opens slightly, a gentle warmth radiates outward. Images of creations nearing fullness, relationships deepening slowly, personal growth unfolding layer by layer. All await completion, not as a demand, but as a loving invitation whenever the soul is ready. The embrace tightens soothingly, holding you as pages rustle in a soft breeze, each sound a caress against your awareness. Your breath becomes part of this light, slow and deep, drawing in comfort, exhaling any last whispers of the day. The library's presence conveys without words that your own book is here too, cherished and patiently glowing. Its completion at a beautiful process, already perfectly underway. Tension melts away entirely, replaced by the profound gentleness of being held. Sleep approaches like a dear companion, wrapping you further in this luminous embrace. You are safe, loved, and exactly as you should be. Allow the gentle light to carry you now, deeper into restorative slumber, where books and souls await completion in the sweetest peace. A soft current of light lifts you once more, guiding you into a peaceful drift through vast starry corridors. The space opens into the Akashic Library of Unfinished Journeys, a timeless repository where every soul's path is recorded in luminous detail, with journeys left open in loving continuation. The shelves float freely here, arranged in gentle spirals that mirror the soul's eternal wanderings. Books pulse with soft indigo and gold, each one a record of travels, paused yet forever ongoing. You drift effortlessly, feeling weightless and serene as the current carries you deeper. One journey book draws near, its pages unfolding to reveal soft vistas, roads winding through misty mountains, oceans crossed in quiet reflection, inner explorations rich with discovery. All unfinished journeys are celebrated here, held in the Akashic light as precious and complete in their own way. No rush permeates this space, only peaceful acceptance that every step, taken or yet to come, is part of a greater harmony. The drift slows your thoughts to a tranquil pace, each one floating away like leaves on a still pond. Warmth spreads through you, relaxing muscles you didn't know were holding on. The library's essence whispers reassurance. Your unfinished journeys are beautifully mapped here, guiding you gently even in rest. Pages turn with the softest sighs, lulling you further. Sleep envelops you now, deep and dreaming or profoundly still, as you continue this peaceful drift. You are held securely in the Akashic embrace, journeying onward in the quietest way. Release fully, drifting into the most restorative slumber amid unfinished yet eternal paths. The light forms a tranquil passage around you, a tunnel of soft pearlescent glow leading deeper into the heart of the library. You move through it slowly, serenely, arriving among shelves of eternal stories that rise like ancient trees in a fog-kissed forest. Each shelf holds books that tell stories without beginning or end, flowing eternally in cycles of gentle renewal. The air is cool and calming, scented with hints of rain and blooming night flowers. You pass between the shelves, feeling the stories brush against your awareness like silk, tales of love recurring across ages, wisdom passed in quiet moments, adventures reborn in new forms. All are eternal, never truly unfinished, simply pausing in this tranquil space. A story volume opens nearby, releasing faint sparks of light that dance around you, soothing and playful. They convey the peace of knowing every narrative continues forever, woven into the fabric of existence. Your passage slows, allowing deep relaxation to settle in, breath by breath. The shelves seem to lean in protectively, their eternal stories humming a low, comforting vibration that resonates through your entire being. Thoughts dissolve into the tranquility, leaving pure, restful presence. Sleep draws near, inevitable and sweet, as the passage widens into open calm. You are part of these eternal stories now, cradled in their unending flow. Let the tranquil passage carry you completely into slumber, safe among shelves where stories live forever, in gentle, loving peace. The light around you shifts to a delicate rose-gold hue, soft as dawn filtering through silk curtains, and you feel yourself drawn into a secluded alcove where the shelves glow with the quiet radiance of lives unlived. This is the place of unlived adventures, stories that hovered at the edge of possibility, never stepped into, yet held here in perfect tenderness rather than regret. The books are slender and light, their covers shimmering like dragonfly wings, and as you drift among them, a gentle warmth rises in your chest. One volume settles into your awareness, its pages whispering of journeys paused at the threshold, a train ticket never used, a letter never sent, a leap of faith gently deferred. As the pages turn slowly in an unfelt breeze, soft scenes unfold around you, walking alone along a foreign shoreline at twilight, dancing under strings of lights in an unknown city, speaking words of truth that once felt too heavy. None of these moments carry sorrow. They simply rest here, luminous and complete in their not happening, freeing the soul from what might have been. The air grows thicker with calm, scented faintly with salt and pine, and every breath you take draws this peace deeper into your body. Tension that lingered in your shoulders, your jaw, your thoughts, dissolves like mist in morning sun. Another book brushes close, revealing glimpses of quieter adventures, planting a garden that was only imagined, learning an instrument in daydreams, offering forgiveness that waited for the right season. All are cherished equally, glowing softly as they float in slow circles around you. Your heartbeat slows to match the unhurried rhythm of this space, and sleep begins to pool warmly at the edges of your awareness. You understand without words that unlived adventures are not losses, but gifts of spaciousness, allowing other paths to bloom. The rose-gold light wraps you like the softest blanket, cradling every part of you in unconditional acceptance. Let go now, deeper and deeper, as the whispers of unlived adventures fade into the gentlest lullaby, carrying you fully into restorative slumber. A subtle shift in the light brings cooler tones of lavender and silver, and you glide into a serene hall where the shelves rise like cathedral arches bathed in moonlight. Here resides the archive of unfinished destinies, paths that curved away at pivotal moments, destinies that transformed rather than concluded. The books are bound in pale linen, their spines etched with faint constellations that seem to twinkle as you pass. One drifts forward, opening to reveal threads of light weaving and reweaving, a career imagined but gently released for deeper calling, a home in another land dreamed yet surrendered to present roots, a love that shifted shape rather than ending. Each shift glows with quiet wisdom, showing how unfinished destinies make room for truer ones to emerge. The hall is profoundly still, broken only by the softest rustle of pages, turning in perfect harmony. You feel this stillness seep into your limbs, weighing them beautifully, drawing you downward into the bed as though gravity itself has become an ally of rest. Another book joins the first, its pages displaying destinies paused mid-breath, souls choosing rest over striving, simplicity over ambition, presence over pursuit. All are held in loving suspension, radiating reassurance that no destiny is ever truly unfinished. It simply flows into new form. The lavender light caresses your awareness, soothing every corner of your mind until thoughts slow to the pace of drifting clouds. Warmth spreads from your heart outward, releasing the day completely. Sleep gathers you now, rich and inevitable, as the archive's gentle presence conveys without words that your own destiny is perfectly unfolding, even in this pause. You are safe, guided, deeply loved. Allow the serene archive to cradle you entirely, carrying you through waves of deepening relaxation until only peaceful slumber remains. The light brightens to a soft, welcoming gold, and you find yourself floating toward a vast, circular chamber where shelves spiral outward like the rings of an ancient tree. This is the place where all stories continue, the wing that holds the gentle truth that nothing truly ends. Books here are open and luminous, their pages turning endlessly in slow, reassuring cycles. One large volume settles before you, its pages alive with soft movement, characters pausing to breathe, plots resting in quiet interludes, souls gathering strength between chapters. Scenes arise tenderly, a traveller sitting by a window watching rain, a creator stepping back to listen, a heart learning patience in stillness. All convey the beauty of continuation without force. The golden light wraps around you like sunlight through honey, warming and softening every layer of your being. Your breath becomes long and effortless, each exhale releasing deeper into relaxation. Another book drifts close, revealing stories that seemed complete, yet quietly extend in unseen ways. Ripples of kindness traveling far beyond the act, words spoken echoing through time, love transforming rather than concluding. The chamber hums with quiet certainty that every story, including yours, continues perfectly, even when unseen. Pages rustle all around in a soothing chorus, massaging away the last traces of wakefulness. Your body sinks fully now, heavy and blissfully still, as sleep rises to meet you. The light dims to the perfect level for rest, cradling you in its gentle glow. You are held in the heart of continuation, where nothing is ever lost, only transformed. Let this truth carry you completely into the deepest, most healing slumber, safe in the knowledge that all stories, yours most tenderly, go on forever in loving light. A gentle current of starlit air guides you upward into a celestial expanse where shelves drift like slow-moving clouds against a velvet sky. Here, in this vast openness, reside the incomplete yet perfect stories of the universe, narratives spanning lifetimes, galaxies, souls intertwined across eternity. The books are unbound, their pages floating in graceful constellations that rearrange themselves as you watch. One cluster gathers before you, forming a luminous volume that pulses softly with cosmic rhythm. As pages drift past, visions arise, stars birthing new worlds mid-formation, rivers carving canyons over eons, hearts healing across incarnations. All are incomplete only in linear time. In truth, they are perfectly ongoing. The starlight caresses you, cool and soothing, drawing tension from every cell until you feel weightless and serene. Another constellation of pages forms nearby, revealing earthly stories woven into the greater tapestry, a quiet act of courage rippling outward, a moment of connection echoing through generations, a soul's growth unfolding slowly like seasons. Nothing feels fragmented, everything glows with wholeness. The vastness holds you tenderly, and your breath aligns with the slow pulse of the cosmos itself. Thoughts dissolve into sparkling dust that joins the drifting pages, leaving pure, restful presence. Sleep flows into you now deep and boundless as the celestial quiet deepens. You understand in the gentlest way that your own story is part of this perfect incompleteness, eternally becoming eternally loved. The starlit shelves circle protectively, their light dimming to the ideal glow for deepest rest. Release fully into this celestial embrace, floating without effort until only the softest, most restorative slumber remains. The light softens to a tender pearl essence, and you descend slowly into a hushed wing where shelves curve inward like the petals of a vast bloom. This is the gentle wing of uncompleted books, volumes paused mid-sentence, mid-thought, mid-breath, yet radiating profound peace rather than longing. The books rest half open, their pages edged in faint silver that catches the light like morning dew. One settles into your hands, warm and pulsing faintly, and as it breathes with you, fragments appear softly. A poem waiting for its final line, a journey paused at a crossroads, a dream gathering strength in quiet. All are held in loving suspension, complete in their pause. The pearl light seeps into you, soothing and heavy, drawing your body deeper into the bed as eyelids grow impossibly relaxed. Another book joins, its pages whispering of creations set aside not in abandonment but in wise timing, paintings left mid-stroke to mature in the artist's heart, conversations waiting for ripeness, healings unfolding slowly. The wing's silence is rich with understanding, conveying that uncompletion is sometimes the kindest path. Pages turn with the softest sighs, creating a lullaby that slows your heartbeat to perfect rest. Warmth spreads from your center outward, melting the day entirely. Sleep embraces you fully now, sweet and inevitable, as the gentle wing cradles every aspect of your being. You are safe, whole, deeply cherished exactly as your story pauses tonight. Allow the pearl light to carry you completely into the deepest, most nurturing slumber, held forever in the tender heart of uncompleted yet perfect books. The light gathers into a warm, protective sphere around you, and you begin a slow, rocking drift through vast corridors where shelves tower like ancient guardians. This is the place of eternal stories, narratives that transcend time, weaving through lifetimes without ever reaching a final page. The books here are thick and luminous, their covers etched with symbols that shift gently as you pass, revealing glimpses of recurring themes, love that returns in new forms, lessons learned across ages, quiet acts of grace echoing forward. One volume drifts close, opening to release soft threads of light that wrap tenderly around your awareness. Scenes arise like memories from a shared dream, souls meeting again under different skies, wisdom passed in silent glances, courage blooming in unexpected seasons. All flow without urgency, eternal and unbroken. The rocking motion deepens your relaxation, each sway loosening the last knots of tension in your body. Your breath aligns with the gentle pulse of the shelves, slow and steady, drawing peace inward. Another book joins, its pages alive with stories of persistence. Rivers carving stone over eons, hearts healing layer by layer, light finding its way through endless night. Nothing feels incomplete, everything simply continues in perfect rhythm. The air grows rich with calm, scented faintly with cedar and distant rain. Warmth spreads from your core, melting thoughts into soft haze. Pages rustle all around in a soothing symphony, lulling your mind toward beautiful emptiness. Sleep rises to meet you now, deep and enveloping, as the eternal stories cradle you in their timeless embrace. You are part of this endless weave, safe and cherished beyond measure. Allow the drift to carry you fully, rocking gently into the most restorative slumber, held forever in the loving flow of eternal stories. A subtle breeze of cool, soothing air guides you downward into a vast, misty expanse where shelves emerge like islands in a tranquil sea. Here, in this serene realm, reside the open dreams, visions that remain forever accessible, never closed, never diminished. The books float at varying heights, their pages edged in soft silver that catches faint starlight from above. One dream book settles near, its cover warm and inviting, and as it opens slowly, gentle visions bloom around you, flying over endless meadows at twilight, walking through forests where trees whisper kindness, resting in places of pure light where time dissolves. These dreams are not fleeting, they wait patiently, always ready to envelop the soul in comfort. The mist caresses your awareness, cooling and calming, drawing any lingering warmth of the day into gentle release. Another open dream drifts close, revealing quieter visions. Sitting by a fire with unseen companions sharing silence, floating on still water under infinite stars, feeling boundless love without source or condition. All remain open, inviting return whenever needed. Your heartbeat slows to the serene pace of this realm, each beat echoing the soft turn of pages. The mist thickens comfortingly, wrapping you like the softest fog blanket. Thoughts fade to whispers, then to silence, as sleep pools deeply within. The shelves seem to breathe with you, in and out, matching your deepening relaxation. You understand, in the quietest way, that dreams held open are the greatest gift, eternal refuge, eternal possibility. The serene realm holds you tenderly now, its light dimming to perfect restfulness. Release completely into this embrace, allowing the open dreams to carry you through waves of profound peace until only the sweetest, most healing slumber remains. The light transforms into a soft, shimmering veil that parts gently, revealing a boundless hall bathed in pale, comforting blue. This is the realm of perpetual possibilities, where every paused moment branches into infinite gentle futures, all existing in harmonious quiet. The shelves spiral outward endlessly, each holding books that pulse with soft, ever-changing light, reflecting choices yet to be made, paths yet to unfold. One possibility book approaches, its pages turning in slow, inviting spirals, and as you touch it, waves of calm possibility wash over you. Lives lived in quiet joy, connections deepening across distance, creativity flowing without limit. None demand choice, all simply are, held in perfect suspension. The blue light seeps into your being, soothing and expansive, relaxing every muscle until you feel utterly weightless. Another book joins, revealing subtler possibilities. Days filled with small wonders, nights of deep rest, moments of unexpected grace. The hall's quiet hum resonates through you, aligning breath and heartbeat into one tranquil rhythm. Pages flutter softly around, creating breezes that massage away the final traces of wakefulness. Warmth and coolness alternate gently, balancing your entire system into perfect readiness for sleep. You feel deeply seen, deeply allowed, as the realm conveys without words that all possibilities remain open for you, forever kind, forever loving. Sleep gathers you now, rich and inevitable, drawing you downward into the softest depths. The perpetual light dims to a nurturing glow, cradling you in its boundless embrace. Let go entirely, sinking through layers of peace, until the realm of perpetual possibilities becomes one with your deepest, most restorative slumber. A tender descent begins as the light folds into layers of warm ivory and gold, carrying you into a sacred space where shelves curve like the petals of an immense, blooming flower. Here reside the open chapters, moments paused mid-breath, stories inviting continuation whenever the soul feels ready. The books rest half open, their pages glowing softly, radiating invitation rather than expectation. One chapter drifts into your awareness, warm and pulsing gently, and as it reveals itself, soft scenes unfold, conversations waiting for deeper truth, journeys paused at beautiful vistas, creations gathering strength in quiet gestation. All are held in loving patience, complete in their openness. The ivory gold light wraps around you like the softest silk, warming and relaxing every layer of your being. Your breath lengthens, deepening, as another open chapter approaches, showing quieter pauses, hearts resting between beats of growth, minds clearing before new insight, bodies healing in gentle stillness. The space hums with quiet encouragement, scented faintly with honey and fresh linen. Pages turn with the softest sighs, lulling your thoughts into beautiful dissolution. Tension evaporates completely, replaced by profound acceptance. Sleep rises sweetly now, meeting you halfway, as the blooming shelves lean in protectively. You are cherished exactly as you are, your own open chapters glowing brightly among the rest. The light dims to perfect slumber glow, cradling you in unconditional tenderness. Allow this tender descent to continue, deeper and deeper, until the open chapters blend seamlessly into the most nurturing, restorative sleep. The light shifts to a soft, healing green, and you glide into a tranquil grove where shelves grow like living trees, their branches heavy with luminous books that sway gently in an unfelt breeze. This is the realm of open-ended dreams, visions that stretch forever forward, never concluding, always evolving in gentle beauty. The books pulse with verdant light, their pages alive with growth. One dream settles close, opening to release soft vines of light that curl comfortingly around you. Dreams of endless exploration, of love expanding without boundary, of peace deepening with every breath. All remain open-ended, inviting infinite continuation. The green light bathes you in healing calm, soothing every cell, drawing your body deeper into heavy, blissful stillness. Another dream joins, revealing subtler endlessness. Gardens tended across seasons without end, connections woven through time, inner light growing brighter eternally. The grove's quiet rustle becomes your lullaby, matching the slow rhythm of your relaxing mind. Warm earthiness fills the air, grounding and comforting. Thoughts dissolve into leaves that drift harmlessly away. Sleep embraces you fully now, deep and verdant, as the living shelves cradle you in their gentle sway. You are held in the heart of open-ended possibility, safe and eternally becoming. Release completely into this tranquil grove, allowing the healing green to carry you through waves of profound rest until only the sweetest, most restorative slumber remains. The glow around you thickens into a soft, velvety darkness, pierced by countless tiny points of light, like fireflies suspended in warm honey. You are moving through a vast chamber where every unfinished soul story hovers as a gentle orb of radiance, each one unique, each one quietly breathing. One orb drifts closer, drawn by your presence, and as it nears, it unfolds into a cascade of tender impressions. A soul who once laughed easily but forgot how, another who carried quiet kindness like a hidden lantern, another who dreamed of painting oceans but only ever sketched waves on napkins. These stories do not plead for endings, they simply exist here, luminous and at rest, waiting without impatience. The warmth from the orb seeps into you, loosening places you did not know were tight, behind your eyes, along your spine, deep in your chest. Another orb joins, releasing faint traces of music you almost remember, scents of childhood summers, the brush of hands you once held. Nothing is demanded of these souls, and nothing is demanded of you. The chamber itself seems to exhale slowly, matching the rhythm of your own breath, drawing it longer, deeper, softer. More orbs gather loosely around you, forming a loose cocoon of light that rocks almost imperceptibly, like being cradled in the palm of something immense and gentle. Every small worry you carried through the day touches this light and dissolves, becoming part of the quiet glow. Your limbs grow heavy, deliciously heavy, sinking into the bed as though the mattress has become an extension of this loving space. The orbs pulse gently, not in urgency, but in reassurance, reminding you that every soul's story remains open, cherished, and eternally safe. Sleep rises now, slow and sweet, wrapping around your thoughts until they blur into soft color. You are held completely, known completely, loved without condition. Let the chamber carry you the rest of the way, deeper into the quiet heart of unfinished soul stories, where rest is endless and perfect. A cool, silken current lifts you higher, and the space opens into a vast spiral of light where books hover in slow, graceful orbits like planets around an unseen sun. Each volume contains stories yet to be told, pure potential, untouched pages glowing with soft invitation. One book drifts into your reach, its cover smooth and warm, and when it opens, nothing is written yet. The air around you fills with possibility. The hush before a first word, the breath before a song begins, the stillness before a heart decides to trust again. These untouched stories do not feel empty. They feel full of quiet promise, brimming with everything that could be. The spiral turns slowly and you turn with it, weightless, every rotation easing your mind further from the day's edges. Another book approaches, its pages blank, but shimmering with faint colors that shift as you watch, hints of laughter not yet released, kindnesses waiting to be offered, discoveries still folded in mystery. The coolness of the current soothes your skin, your thoughts, your deepest layers until you feel rinsed clean of everything that is not peace. The orbiting books begin to hum, a low, resonant tone that vibrates gently through your chest, slowing your pulse to match its calm cadence. You sense your own untold stories among them, glowing softly, patient and eager in the gentlest way. There is no hurry here, only spaciousness and love. The spiral widens, giving you more room to simply be, and sleep begins to pour into that space like warm oil, heavy and soothing. Your body relaxes completely, every muscle releasing its last claim on wakefulness. The books orbit closer now, their light dimming to the perfect level for surrender. You are surrounded by stories yet to be told, and you are one of them, beautifully unfinished, beautifully held. Drift fully into this quiet promise, letting sleep claim you entirely in the soft turning of pure possibility. The light folds inward, becoming a deep, comforting indigo that feels like the moment just before dawn when the world is still dreaming. You have entered a quiet gallery where incomplete paths stretch out like luminous threads, some thin and delicate, others broad and golden, all suspended in perfect stillness. One thread brushes against you, and suddenly you are aware of journeys paused mid-stride, a traveller who stopped to watch clouds, a seeker who chose rest over arrival, a heart that turned inward to listen. These paths do not end, they simply wait, glowing softly, free from any sense of failure. The indigo light absorbs every remaining flicker of tension, drawing it out of your body like drawing poison from a wound, leaving only calm in its place. Another thread winds gently near, carrying impressions of quieter pauses. Letters begun and set aside for the right words, gardens planted but allowed to grow wild, dreams shifted rather than abandoned. All are honored here, woven into the gallery's vast tapestry without judgment. The stillness deepens until you can feel your heartbeat as individual, slow events, each one a soft wave carrying you further from shore. The threads begin to sway in unison, a barely perceptible motion that rocks you like a boat on a mirror-smooth lake. Your breath matches this sway, long and effortless, emptying your mind with every exhale. Sleep gathers beneath you now, thick and velvety, ready to receive your full weight. The gallery's presence is a quiet embrace, conveying without words that every path you have ever taken, or not taken, is part of a greater beauty. You are exactly where you need to be. The indigo light dims further, becoming the perfect darkness for deep rest. Let the luminous threads hold you as you sink completely, carried gently into the softest, most healing sleep amid incomplete, yet perfect paths. A warm, rose-colored mist rises around you, and the space transforms into a vast, circular atrium where books rest on low, curved pedestals like offerings in a sanctuary. These are the open chapters of countless lives, pages turned to the middle, stories breathing quietly in mid-sentence. One book invites you closer, its pages warm and slightly curled at the edges, and as you sense its contents, gentle impressions flow outward. A conversation, paused at the moment of deepest honesty, a creative work, resting while inspiration gathers, a relationship deepening in comfortable silence. Nothing feels interrupted, everything feels perfectly timed. The rose mist curls around your awareness, softening every edge, easing every breath into deeper relaxation. Another open chapter drifts near, revealing quieter midpoints. A morning spent watching light move across a wall, a season of intentional stillness, a heart learning to hold both joy and uncertainty. The atrium's air is scented faintly with roses and warm bread, comforting and grounding. Your body grows heavier with each breath, sinking deliciously into the bed as though the mattress has widened to hold the entire sanctuary. The books begin to glow in soft pulses, matching the slow rhythm of your relaxing mind, lulling thoughts into gentle dissolution. Sleep rises like tide, steady and inevitable, filling the spaces where day once lived. You feel deeply welcomed here, your own open chapters glowing among the others, cherished without pressure to continue tonight. The rose light dims to a tender ember, perfect for surrender. You are held in the heart of stories, breathing quietly, loved exactly as you are. Release everything now, allowing the warm mist to carry you fully into profound, restorative slumber. The light thins to a delicate silver thread that guides you into an immense, hushed chamber where shelves dissolve into pure luminescence, and books appear as soft, floating lanterns of light. These are the perpetual possibilities, moments that could unfold in endless, gentle ways, all existing simultaneously in quiet harmony. One lantern drifts into your reach, and as it opens, a cascade of tender futures brushes against you. Quiet mornings filled with birdsong, unexpected kindnesses received and given, small adventures that feel like coming home. None demand choice, all simply offer themselves in loving availability. The silver light cools and soothes every remaining warmth of wakefulness, drawing your awareness into spacious calm. Another lantern approaches, releasing subtler possibilities. Days of deep rest, nights of clear dreaming, moments when everything aligns without effort. The chamber's hush is profound, broken only by the faintest chime when a lantern shifts position, each sound a note of reassurance. Your breath slows to match this quiet rhythm, emptying completely with every exhale. The lanterns begin to circle slowly around you, their light merging into a single, protective glow that cradles your entire being. Sleep pools deeply now, rich and irresistible, rising to meet you from within. You sense your own possibilities among them, glowing softly, patient and kind. There is no need to choose tonight, only to rest. The silver light dims to the gentlest shimmer, perfect for deepest surrender. You are surrounded by perpetual possibility, held in boundless love. Let the lanterns carry you the rest of the way, drifting fully into the softest, most nurturing slumber, where everything possible waits gently for morning. The darkness around you is not empty but alive with the faintest shimmer, like deep ocean water holding distant bioluminescence. You are suspended in a vast, weightless void where entire lives appear as slow-moving rivers of soft light, each river representing an incomplete path that simply chose to meander rather than rush toward an end. One river flows nearer, its surface rippling with quiet memories. A young person who turned away from a crowded city to live beside a lake. An elder who set down ambition to tend a small garden. A lover who released a relationship so both could grow separately. These paths do not feel broken or wrong. They feel deliberate, kind to the soul that walked them. The river's light touches you and a profound heaviness settles into your limbs, the kind of heaviness that comes from true letting go. Another river drifts alongside, carrying subtler currents. Years spent learning to listen more than speak. Seasons of deliberate solitude, choices to forgive rather than understand everything. The water-like light laps gently against your awareness, washing away any last fragments of the day's noise. You feel your body far away becoming part of the bed, indistinguishable from it, as though the mattress has widened into this entire quiet sea. The rivers begin to braid together loosely around you, their combined glow dimming to a nurturing charcoal that invites complete surrender. Every breath you take draws in the cool essence of these paths, exhaling anything that still clings. Sleep rises now from beneath, not as a wave, but as the natural deepening of the void itself. You understand that every incomplete path is simply a soul choosing its own rhythm, and yours is choosing rest tonight. The rivers hold you without effort, rocking you in slow, invisible currents. Let them carry you the rest of the way, deeper into the soft, bottomless quiet, where incomplete paths become perfect in their wandering. A low, resonant hum fills the space, the sound of a single, sustained note played on an instrument too large to see. The hum vibrates gently through your bones, loosening them one by one. You are inside an immense, hollow sphere of pale amethyst light, its inner surface covered with countless small, dark doorways, each doorway an open chapter that was never forced shut. One doorway brightens as you drift toward it, and through it you sense, rather than see, a writer who stopped mid-manuscript to live the story instead of finishing it, a traveler who arrived somewhere and simply stayed, a parent who chose presence over legacy. The chapter does not ask to be completed. It breathes contentedly in its openness. The hum deepens and you feel it in your chest, slowing your heart to match its calm frequency. Another doorway glows nearby, revealing quieter openings. Conversations left unfinished because the silence afterward was more honest. Projects abandoned because the learning had already happened. Promises kept in spirit rather than letter. The amethyst light thickens, becoming almost tangible, wrapping around you like warm smoke. Your thoughts, which had been soft threads, now unravel completely, drifting away into the sphere's vast curve. The doorways begin to pulse in slow unison with the hum, each pulse releasing another layer of wakefulness from your mind. Your body sinks further, as though the bed has dropped away and you are resting directly on the sphere's gentle curve. Sleep gathers in the center of the sphere, dense and velvet dark, drawing you inward. You feel no need to close any door tonight, yours or anyone else's. Everything is allowed to remain open, breathing, alive. The hum softens to the edge of hearing, becoming the sound of your own blood moving slowly, peacefully. Let the sphere hold you in this perfect suspension, carrying you downward through the hum into deep, unhurried rest. The light thins to a single, delicate filament that stretches across an endless night sky within the library, and you find yourself walking, or rather gliding, along it as though it were a narrow bridge made of moonlit glass. On either side, vast expanses drop away into soft darkness, and suspended in that darkness are countless small, glowing seeds. Each seed is an open chapter waiting to take root whenever the time feels right. One seed drifts upward toward the bridge, brushing against you, and suddenly you know its quiet story, a song that was hummed but never written down, a reconciliation imagined but not yet spoken, a skill learned halfway and then set aside for something more urgent. The seed does not feel neglected, it feels patient, certain of its eventual blooming. The contact leaves a cool trace on your skin, traveling inward to calm the last fluttering places in your mind. Another seed rises, carrying the gentler weight of ordinary pauses, mornings when plans were abandoned for the pleasure of staying in bed, evenings when words were withheld because silence felt kinder, years when growth happened beneath the surface rather than in visible achievement. The glass bridge sways almost imperceptibly, rocking you into deeper relaxation. Your breath becomes part of the night air, long and cool, carrying away everything that is not this moment. The seeds begin to glow in slow waves like breathing, and you feel your own heartbeat join the rhythm. Sleep pools along the bridge beneath your feet, soft and deep, rising gradually to meet you. You understand that every open chapter is simply a seed resting in perfect darkness, gathering strength. Nothing is late, nothing is missing. The filament brightens briefly as though smiling, then dims to the exact level needed for surrender. Let the bridge carry you forward or nowhere at all while the seeds keep their quiet watch, holding you gently in the vast, patient night until rest claims you completely. A sudden softness envelops you, as though the air itself has turned to down feathers drifting in slow motion. You are in a boundless space filled with these feathers, each one carrying a faint imprint of an unfinished heart tale. Moments when love shifted shape rather than ended, when compassion was offered silently, when vulnerability was allowed without resolution. One feather settles on your chest, and its warmth spreads outward. The memory of a hand held longer than necessary, a glance across a room that said everything, a forgiveness given without words. The tail does not ache. It rests, complete in its gentleness. Another feather lands lightly on your forehead, cooling and calming, the quiet decision to love from a distance, the choice to let someone go with grace, the acceptance that some connections live most beautifully in memory. The feathers multiply slowly, drifting around you in lazy spirals, brushing against your awareness with the lightest touch. Each contact releases another small knot somewhere in your body, neck, jaw, lower back, until you feel entirely unbound. Your breathing slows to the pace of the drifting, deep and effortless, as though the feathers are breathing with you. The space has no edges, no up or down, only this endless softness holding you in perfect suspension. Sleep gathers among the feathers, thick and warm, rising to meet you from all directions. You sense your own heart tails among them, glowing softly, neither hurried nor abandoned. Everything is allowed to remain tender and open tonight. The feathers begin to settle, layering themselves into a bed of infinite gentleness beneath and around you. Let them carry your full weight now, drawing you downward through layers of quiet warmth until only the deepest, most nurturing rest remains. The light condenses into a single, slow-breathing ember at the center of everything, and you are drawn toward it as though by the gentlest tide. Around the ember, vast rings of pale fire circle in eternal motion, each ring composed of countless half-written soul libraries, volumes that paused mid-sentence because the soul needed to live the next part rather than record it. One ring slows as you approach, and a volume detaches, floating toward you like a leaf on still water. Its pages are warm, almost hot to the touch, and they carry quiet impressions. A mystic who stopped speaking in order to listen. an artist who destroyed finished work to begin again raw, a wanderer who arrived home only to realize home was the journey itself. The library does not mourn its unfinished state, it radiates contentment. The ember's heat reaches you now, not burning but deeply soothing, melting the final thin shell of wakefulness that had lingered around your thoughts. Another volume drifts from a different ring, carrying subtler pauses, decades spent in ordinary jobs while the soul wrote invisible poetry, relationships that ended in quiet understanding rather than drama, lives lived small on the outside but vast within. The rings continue their slow turning, and you turn with them, weightless, every rotation drawing you closer to the ember's heart. Your body far away has become pure heaviness, sinking through the bed into the earth itself. Sleep waits at the ember's core, dense and radiant, ready to receive you completely. You feel every unfinished soul library as a quiet celebration of becoming rather than arrival. Nothing needs completion tonight. The ember pulses once, softly, in perfect time with your slowing heart. Let the rings carry you the final distance, spiraling gently inward until you rest at the warm, quiet center, where all soul libraries breathe together in endless, loving pause. A vast, slow-turning wheel of pale light appears in the distance, its rim lined with countless small, glowing alcoves, each one cradling a single, unfinished soul library. You are drawn toward the wheel as though pulled by the quiet gravity of deep rest. As you near, one alcove brightens and slides forward on invisible rails, presenting a small, leather-bound volume that feels warm, almost alive. When it opens, no words appear. Instead, quiet pulses of feeling wash over you. The sensation of standing at a window watching snow fall without needing to go anywhere. The weight of a hand resting on a shoulder in perfect silence. The hush after a long-held note fades. These are the soul's unfinished libraries, not lacking but deliberately spacious, allowing room for whatever arises next. The wheel turns slowly, and the alcove rocks you with it, a motion so gentle it feels like the memory of being carried as a child. Another alcove approaches, offering a different volume whose pages release faint traces of scent, warm tea on a cold evening, salt air from a beach visited only once, the particular green smell after rain. Each scent loosens something inside you, a small door you didn't know was closed. Your body grows heavier, as though every cell has decided to stay exactly where it is. The wheel's turning becomes the only movement left in the universe, and you move with it, effortlessly, while everything else quiets. Sleep pools in the center of the wheel, dark and thick, drawing you inward with the patience of deep water. You feel your own soul library among the others, glowing softly on its alcove, neither hurried nor neglected. The light dims to the barest outline of the wheel, just enough to remind you that you are held. Let the slow turning carry you the rest of the way, around and around until you rest at the still heart where all unfinished soul libraries breathe together in perfect, unhurried quiet. The space collapses gently into a single, endless corridor, lined with tall, narrow windows that open onto soft darkness. Through each window drifts a single page, detached from any book, floating slowly like a leaf in still air. These are the pages of unended stories, moments that refused to conclude because continuation felt kinder. One page glides through the nearest window and pauses in front of you, its surface blank at first, then slowly revealing faint impressions. A conversation that ended with "we'll talk later" and never needed to. A journey that stopped at the perfect viewpoint, a piece of music that faded out instead of resolving. The page does not ask for completion, it simply exists, content in its suspension. As it brushes past, a cool trace lingers on your skin, traveling inward to calm the last restless corners of your mind. Another page follows, carrying subtler suspensions. A letter sealed but never sent because the feeling had already been received. A plan abandoned the moment something better appeared without warning. A goodbye that turned into "see you soon" without either person deciding. The corridor stretches forever in both directions, yet feels intimate, as though built only for this moment. Your footsteps make no sound, or perhaps you are no longer walking, only gliding while the pages pass. Each one leaves a small gift of lightness, lifting something you had been carrying without noticing. Your breath lengthens until it matches the slow drift of the pages, in and out, endless and easy. Sleep gathers along the corridor floor, rising gradually like warm mist. The windows dim one by one, not closing, but softening, until only the faint glow of passing pages remains. You understand that every unended story is an act of mercy toward the soul. Nothing is left hanging, everything is allowed to float. Let the corridor carry you forward or nowhere, while the pages continue their quiet dance, guiding you gently into the deep, seamless rest that waits at the end of all gentle suspension. A profound stillness settles, so complete that even the idea of light feels optional. You are resting on what feels like cool, smooth stone at the bottom of an immense well, and far above, faint points of light drift downward like slow snow. Each point is an unwritten soul library, descending only when ready, never forced. One point reaches you and unfolds into a soft sphere of warmth that settles against your chest. Inside the sphere, quiet impressions form. A person who chose ordinary days over grand achievements and felt richer for it. Another who learned to sit with questions instead of demanding answers. Another who loved deeply and then released without bitterness. The library does not lack pages, it chooses emptiness as its fullest expression. The warmth spreads through you, heavy and sweet, pinning you beautifully to the stone in complete surrender. Another point descends, landing lightly on your forehead, cooling and clarifying, moments of deliberate not knowing, seasons of intentional quiet, decisions to leave some things forever open. The well's walls absorb every remaining echo of the day, leaving only this stillness. Your heartbeat slows until it feels like individual drops falling into deep water, each one rippling outward into silence. The descending lights begin to circle slowly above you, not in patterns, but in gentle, random grace, reminding you that timing belongs to something larger. Sleep rises from the stone itself, cool and solid, welcoming your full weight. You feel your own unwritten library among the descending lights, patient and unhurried, glowing faintly far above. There is no need to reach for it tonight. The well holds everything in perfect balance, descent and rest, light and darkness, story and silence. Let the slow snow of unwritten libraries continue its quiet fall, while you remain exactly here, at the still bottom where rest is absolute and complete. The air thickens into something almost liquid, warm and slightly viscous, like moving through heated honey. You are inside a vast golden chamber whose walls are made of slowly shifting sand, each grain a tiny glowing fragment of an eternal unfinished work. The sand moves in lazy currents, forming and reforming shapes that almost become recognizable, a face, a landscape, a gesture, before dissolving back into flow. One current brushes against you and grains cling momentarily, sharing their quiet stories, a tapestry left half-woven because the pattern revealed itself as complete midway, a symphony that ended mid-movement because silence felt like the truest resolution, a life that paused at its most beautiful question. The grains do not mourn their unfinished state, they celebrate it as freedom. The contact leaves a faint golden dust on your skin that sinks inward, warming and weighing you down in the most pleasant way. Another current flows past, carrying subtler fragments, conversations that drifted into comfortable quiet, projects released the moment their purpose was served, loves that transformed rather than concluded. The chamber's golden light deepens, becoming richer, thicker, until it feels like resting inside late afternoon sun. Your body responds by becoming entirely limp, every muscle agreeing to stay exactly as it is. The sand currents begin to circle you slowly, not trapping but cradling, their motion the only remaining rhythm. Sleep gathers in the lowest part of the chamber, dense and golden, rising gradually to meet you. You sense your own unfinished work among the grains, moving freely within the flow, neither stuck nor hurried. Everything is allowed to shift and reform forever. The walls soften further, losing definition, until the entire chamber feels like one slow exhale. Let the golden sand hold you in its warm, viscous embrace, carrying you downward through endless, gentle currents until you rest at the heart of eternal, unfinished beauty. A single, low tone resonates through the darkness, not heard, but felt in the center of your chest. The tone expands slowly into a vast spherical chamber whose boundaries are defined only by the fading echo of itself. Within this sphere float countless small crystalline structures, each one an unfinished book in its purest form, transparent, faceted, refracting soft inner light. One crystal drifts toward you and hovers at eye level, its facets revealing quiet inner scenes. A builder who stopped when the structure felt complete in its openness, a storyteller who ended mid-tale because the listener's imaginations took over, a healer who released the need for cures in favor of simple presence. The book does not feel truncated, it feels perfectly angular, every facet a deliberate choice. When the crystal touches your forehead, cool clarity spreads through you, dissolving the last thin veil between waking and sleeping. Another crystal approaches, rotating slowly to show subtler, unfinished forms, relationships that remained beautifully undefined, questions that became companions rather than problems, silences that spoke more than words ever could. The chamber's tone sustains itself, vibrating gently through every part of your body, aligning breath, pulse, thought into one slow wave. Your limbs grow distant, as though belonging to someone else who is already deeply asleep. The crystals begin to orbit you in wide, unhurried paths, their light refracting into soft rainbows that dissolve before reaching the sphere's edge. Sleep waits at the exact center, clear and still, drawing you inward with infinite patience. You feel your own unfinished book among the crystals, turning slowly, catching light in ways only it can. Nothing is missing, everything is precisely shaped. The tone softens almost to nothing, becoming the quiet hum of pure being. Let the crystalline books continue their silent orbits while you move toward the center, carried by the fading resonance until you arrive at the clear, still heart where all unfinished forms shine together in perfect, transparent rest. A vast, quiet tide of pale silver rises around you, lifting you into a space where the concept of shelves has dissolved entirely. Instead, unfinished books exist as soft, suspended droplets of light, each one a complete world hanging motionless in the air like dew on invisible threads. One droplet trembles slightly and drifts toward you, expanding as it nears until you can step inside its cool interior. Within, you find yourself standing in a vast, empty cathedral made of hushed breath, high arches of silence, floors of polished calm, and stained glass windows showing scenes that never quite resolve. A figure reaching toward another hand that fades just before touch, a horizon that promises arrival, yet keeps its distance, a sentence hovering mid-air without punctuation. These are the uncompleted books, not abandoned but intentionally left breathing, their openness a deliberate act of reverence for mystery. The droplet's membrane brushes against you, cool and slightly electric, sending slow ripples of release through every muscle that still remembers the day. Another droplet merges gently with the first, enlarging the cathedral and adding new windows. A garden where flowers bloom but never wilt. A conversation where the most important words remain deliciously unspoken. A journey whose map ends in blank, inviting space. The silver tide rocks you with the patience of deep ocean, each swell drawing your body further into heavy, grateful stillness. Your thoughts, once small flickering things, now drift upward like smoke and join the suspended droplets, becoming part of the quiet constellation. Sleep pools at the cathedral's center, clear and depthless, reflecting every unresolved scene without judgment. You feel your own uncompleted book among the droplets, glowing softly, its pages turning only when the soul feels the gentle urge. Nothing is hurried here, everything is allowed to remain beautifully partial. The silver light dims to the faintest shimmer, enough only to outline the cathedral's loving vastness. Let the tide continue its slow rise and fall, carrying you deeper into the cool heart where all uncompleted books hang in perfect, suspended grace until rest enfolds you entirely. The darkness folds into itself until it becomes a single, immense velvet curtain hanging in absolute stillness. Behind the curtain, faint outlines of books appear as negative space, shapes defined by what is not there rather than what is. One outline sharpens, drawing you closer, and as you pass through the curtain, you enter a realm of pure absence that somehow feels more complete than presence ever could. Here, the uncompleted books exist as exquisite voids. A story shaped by the silence between heartbeats, a life defined by the pauses between decisions, a love expressed most powerfully in what was never demanded. The absence touches you like cool silk drawn slowly across bare skin, tracing paths along your arms, your throat, the soles of your feet, until every inch of you understands permission to simply be unfinished. Another void approaches, larger and deeper, revealing itself as the space where grand plans dissolved into ordinary, perfect days, where ambitions softened into quiet contentment, where questions were allowed to remain questions because answers would have been smaller than wonder. The velvet darkness absorbs every residual sound. Your breath becomes part of it, your pulse a distant echo that fades willingly. Your body sinks through layers of this exquisite nothing, heavier with each descent, until the idea of having a body feels optional. Sleep waits within the largest void, not as darkness, but as the ultimate spaciousness, vast enough to hold every uncompleted thing without crowding. You sense your own book here, a beautiful absence glowing by what it chooses not to say, not to resolve, not to force. The curtain sways once, imperceptibly, like a final exhale. Let the velvet absence continue its gentle expansion, drawing you inward through endless layers of permission until you rest at the center where completion and incompletion are revealed as the same loving quiet. A low, continuous wind begins to move through the space, not cold, but carrying the temperature of perfect neutrality. The wind shapes itself into vast, transparent sails that billow without sound, each sail an unfinished wing of uncompleted books. One sail curves toward you, enveloping you in its slow arc, and suddenly you are gliding within its embrace across an endless plain of soft, forgiving light. Upon the plain, half-formed structures rise and dissolve, towers that stop midway because their height was already enough, bridges that end in mid-air because the other side was reached in spirit, gardens where paths meander without destination because wandering was the point. These are the uncompleted books, not failed but wisely halted. their partial forms more honest than any forced conclusion could be. The sail's wind presses gently against your back, urging you forward while simultaneously inviting complete relaxation, a paradox that loosens every remaining knot of striving. Another sail crosses your path, overlapping briefly to create a momentary lattice of light that reveals subtler structures, relationships that paused at their most tender point, creations released before perfection because imperfection felt truer, lives that chose depth over breadth. The plane extends forever in every direction, yet feels intimate, as though designed solely for this crossing. Your breath joins the wind, becoming indistinguishable from it, long and effortless. Your body grows transparent with relaxation, its edges softening until you are mostly sail yourself. Sleep gathers along the horizon, not as a line but as a deepening gradient of rest, drawing you toward its quiet center. You feel your own uncompleted wing among the others, billowing perfectly in the neutral wind, neither straining for flight nor fearing stillness. The sails begin to slow, their motion becoming the gentlest rocking. Let the wind continue its patient passage, carrying you across the forgiving plain until you settle into the soft heart, where all unfinished wings rest together in effortless glide. The light condenses into countless thin, vertical strands that hang like a silent rain that never quite reaches the ground. Each strand is a half-written volume of uncompleted books, suspended in mid-descent, glowing with the gentle luminescence of things allowed to remain incomplete. One strand brushes against you, cool and weightless, and as it passes through your awareness you understand its quiet content. A promise kept in spirit rather than detail, a talent expressed once and then released, a sorrow transformed into quiet gratitude without full resolution. The strand leaves no trace, yet somehow lightens you, as though it has taken something unnecessary with it. Another strand follows, thicker and slower, carrying the weight of larger incompletions. Movements begun and wisely paused, legacies shaped more by influence than achievement, loves that evolved into different forms rather than ending. The hanging strands sway in perfect unison, creating a curtain of soft chimes that exist only in feeling rather than sound. Your body responds by becoming part of the suspension, hanging effortlessly among them, every muscle surrendering to the gentle pull of not needing to finish. Your thoughts rise upward along the strands, thinning into mist that joins the quiet rain. Sleep pools far below, dark and welcoming, its surface perfectly still. You sense your own half-written volume among the strands, swaying gently, its incomplete state a deliberate beauty. The strands begin to dim, not disappearing but softening into the exact light needed for deepest rest. Let the silent rain continue its endless suspension, holding you in perfect balance between descent and floating until you merge gently with the waiting pool, where all uncompleted books rest together in quiet, luminous pause. A profound hush descends, deeper than silence, as though sound itself has taken a voluntary vow of restraint. Within this hush, vast spherical membranes float like soap bubbles of infinite size, each one containing an unfinished wing of uncompleted books. One membrane drifts close and envelops you without resistance, its surface cool and slightly resilient. Inside, you find yourself in a perfect sphere of pale rose light where gravity has become optional. Half-formed constellations drift slowly across the inner surface, patterns of stars that never quite connect into recognized shapes, rivers of light that meander without reaching sea, spirals that open rather than close. These are the uncompleted books, existing as beautiful near patterns, their lack of final form the truest expression of freedom. The membrane rocks you with the gentleness of a heartbeat not your own, each pulse releasing another layer of any lingering need for closure. Another membrane overlaps briefly, expanding the sphere and adding new constellations, gardens of light where flowers open but never fade, conversations suspended at their most meaningful unsaid word, journeys whose maps dissolve into pure, directionless wonder. The rose light bathes every part of you, warm and cool simultaneously, until your body feels like an extension of the sphere itself. Your breath becomes the sphere's breath, vast and slow. Sleep waits at the exact center, not as darkness, but as the purest concentration of hush, drawing you inward with infinite tenderness. You feel your own unfinished constellation among the others, drifting perfectly, its incomplete pattern uniquely luminous. The overlapping membranes begin to settle into one, their boundaries softening until the entire space feels like a single, slow inhalation. Let the rose sphere continue its gentle expansion and contraction, cradling you through endless cycles of almost pattern until you arrive at the quiet center, where all uncompleted books float together in perfect, unresolved harmony. A vast, slow-breathing plain of soft obsidian stretches in every direction, its surface reflecting nothing yet absorbing everything. Upon this plain, tranquil tales exist as low, rounded mounds of warm earth, each one an eternal library rising gently like a hill that has forgotten the need for a peak. One mound draws you nearer, its surface smooth and slightly yielding under invisible steps. As you rest against it, the earth warms and shares its quiet burden. A tale of someone who walked away from applause to listen to wind in trees, another who chose one deep friendship over many shallow ones, another who planted seeds knowing they would never see the full forest. These tales do not strain toward conclusion. They settle comfortably into the plain, content with their own gentle slope. The obsidian beneath reflects the faint heat rising from the mound, creating a soft halo that loosens the base of your spine, then your shoulders, then the small muscles around your eyes. Another mound rises nearby, lower and wider, offering subtler stories. Years spent perfecting a single recipe shared only with loved ones. Evenings devoted to watching the same sky change season after season. Silences cultivated like rare flowers. The plain itself begins to undulate in the slowest waves, each one lifting you a fraction and setting you down deeper into relaxation. Your breath widens to match the plain's vast rhythm, drawing in the cool scent of dark stone and warm soil. Sleep gathers in the shallow valleys between mounds dark and fertile, waiting without insistence. You feel your own tranquil tail, forming its own small rise somewhere on the plain, neither prominent nor hidden, simply present. The obsidian dims to the texture of deep night, holding every mound in perfect equilibrium. Let the slow waves continue their patient travel, carrying you across the plain's quiet expanse until you settle into the fertile dark, where all tranquil tales rest together in endless, unhurried earth. The space folds into a single, immense inhale that never quite becomes an exhale. Within this held breath float countless delicate glass orbs, each one containing a single, eternal library suspended in clear, still fluid. One orb drifts forward and stops just beyond reach, its surface magnifying the quiet scene inside, a figure sitting at a window through countless dawns without needing to name what was seen, a hand writing the same line again and again until the line itself became enough, a heart learning to carry both grief and gratitude in the same steady beat. The library does not expand or contract, it remains perfectly sized for what it holds. The suspended breath touches you lightly, cool at first, then warming as it seeps through your skin and slows every inner motion to match its own vast pause. Another orb glides alongside, revealing subtler suspensions, conversations that ended in mutual understanding without summary, creations offered to the world and then released without tracking their journey, loves that shifted into different seasons without losing their essence. The orbs begin to arrange themselves in loose, drifting clusters, their combined light creating soft corridors of pale clarity. Your body responds by forgetting its edges, becoming part of the held breath, weightless and unnecessary to define. Sleep waits within the largest pause, not as absence, but as the fullest expression of this single, endless inhale. You sense your own eternal library floating among them, its fluid neither rising nor falling, simply held. The breath sustains itself without effort, perfect in its refusal to resolve. Let the orbs continue their quiet arrangement, guiding you through corridors of pale light until you merge with the vast pause where all eternal libraries exist together in perfect, suspended breath. A low, continuous glow emerges from below, the color of embers seen through deep water. The glow reveals a vast underwater cavern where soothing silence libraries rest upon the silty floor like ancient, softened ruins. One structure looms gently into view, its arches rounded by time and current, its walls inscribed with impressions rather than words. The slow turning of seasons witnessed from the same porch, the daily preparation of simple meals offered with quiet care, the practice of returning to the same small rituals until they became prayer. The library does not invite exploration, it offers simple presence, its silence deeper than any spoken story. The water's pressure presses lightly against you, equal from every direction, cradling and compressing until your body feels held in the gentlest possible vice. Another structure appears through the dim glow, smaller and more intimate. A single chair facing a window through years of changing light. A journal filled with entries that grew shorter and more spacious. A life measured in breaths rather than achievements. The silt stirs in the faintest currents, carrying particles of light that settle over you like fine dust, cooling your thoughts until they sink willingly to the cavern floor. Your pulse slows to match the water's unhurried rhythm, each beat arriving only when truly needed. Sleep gathers in the deepest recesses of the cavern, thick and blue-black, its surface undisturbed for centuries. You feel your own soothing silence settling among the ruins, neither prominent nor concealed, simply part of the quiet accumulation. The ember glow dims further, becoming the barest outline of arches and walls. Let the water continue its patient pressure, holding you in perfect equilibrium until you rest upon the silty floor where all soothing silence libraries lie together in endless, undisturbed peace. The darkness resolves into countless thin, vertical sheets of translucent ice hanging in perfect alignment, each sheet an open volume among uncompleted books. One sheet slides forward with the faintest crystalline ring, stopping just before touch. Through its clarity you sense, rather than see, a path through snow that was walked once and never repeated because once was perfect, a melody played on an instrument that was then set aside forever, a moment of connection so complete that words afterward would have diminished it. The volume does not seek warmth or melting, it thrives in its frozen openness, preserving the exact shape of what was offered. The cold radiates gently, not biting but clarifying, traveling along your nerves and quieting every small unrest until your thoughts feel etched in perfect stillness. Another sheet aligns beside the first, revealing subtler preservations. Letters written in the mind but never sent, because the sending had already occurred in spirit, sketches made and then erased because the act of making was the completion, silences shared that contained entire conversations. The sheets begin to vibrate at a frequency too low to hear, only to feel, a deep, slow resonance that aligns your breath with their motionless suspension. Your body grows transparent with cold clarity, its boundaries defined only by the space between sheets. Sleep waits beyond the final sheet, not as warmth, but as the ultimate transparency, clear and boundless. You sense your own open volume hanging among them, its ice neither thickening nor thinning, simply enduring in perfect form. The resonance deepens until it becomes the sound of your own slowing heart. Let the sheets continue their quiet alignment, guiding you forward through crystalline corridors until you pass beyond the last one into the clear, cold heart where all uncompleted books remain forever open in flawless, frozen grace. A vast, soft collapse begins, as though the entire space has decided to lie down. The collapse forms gentle dunes of warm, fine ash, each dune a gentle library of uncompleted yet perfect books. One dune rises slowly beneath you, its surface yielding just enough to cradle without swallowing. As you settle, the ash warms and shares its quiet weight. A life that chose depth in fewer things over breadth in many. A creation released unfinished because its unfinished state spoke more truly. A love that allowed space rather than filling every moment. The library does not rise or strive. It accepts its own gentle contour, complete in its refusal to become a mountain. The warmth spreads upward through your back, your arms, the crown of your head, melting the last thin structures of wakefulness. Another dune forms nearby, lower and longer, offering subtler completions. Days spent doing very little yet feeling entirely full, conversations that ended naturally without summary, questions that became permanent, welcomed companions. The ash shifts in the faintest currents, reshaping itself around you to support every curve and hollow perfectly. Your breath becomes part of the slow settling, each exhale adding imperceptibly to the dune's quiet accumulation. Sleep gathers in the lowest points between dunes, soft and grey, its surface perfectly level. You feel your own gentle library forming its own small rise, neither higher nor lower than the others, simply present in the vast collapse. The warmth deepens until it feels like resting inside the memory of a fire long cooled to perfect comfort. Let the dunes continue their slow reshaping, adjusting infinitely to hold you better until you become indistinguishable from the warm ash where all uncompleted yet perfect books rest together in endless gentle collapse. A vast quiet lake of liquid starlight spreads beneath you, its surface perfectly still, reflecting nothing above because there is no above, only depth. Upon this lake float countless small flat stones, each one an unfinished soul glowing faintly from within, skipping eternally without ever sinking. One stone glides to a stop beside you, its surface warm despite the cool starlight, and as you place your hand upon it you feel the gentle thrum of a life that paused at its sweetest note. Someone who learned to bake bread and then baked only when the mood arrived, another who collected moments of ordinary beauty instead of photographs, another who spoke less and listened more until silence became their native tongue. The stone does not seek the far shore. It rests contentedly in mid-journey, its ripples long since softened into calm. The starlight seeps upward through your palm, travelling along your arm and pooling behind your eyes, cooling every small fire of wakefulness that remained. Another stone drifts closer, smaller and smoother, carrying quieter pauses. Mornings when the alarm was ignored in favour of lingering warmth, evenings when plans dissolved into shared quiet, years when growth happened in the dark like roots. The lake begins to rock you in the slowest possible rhythm, each movement so subtle it feels like the memory of motion rather than motion itself. Your body grows heavy with liquid light, sinking gradually until you are half submerged, half floating, perfectly balanced between effort and surrender. Sleep gathers in the deepest part of the lake, not darker but clearer, a place where reflection and reality become the same. You sense your own unfinished soul resting on its own small stone nearby, glowing softly, neither rushing nor stalling. The starlight dims to the exact luminosity needed for complete release. Let the lake continue its imperceptible rocking, carrying every stone in endless patient suspension until you merge with the clear depths where all unfinished souls float together in perfect, starlit pause. The darkness resolves into a single, immense tapestry hanging in gentle folds, woven from threads so fine they appear as mist. Each thread is a possibility left open, shimmering faintly where it has not been cut or knotted. One section of the tapestry draws nearer, its pattern loose and breathing, a life that wove wide spaces between obligations to allow unexpected beauty. Another that chose fewer threads of deeper color over a crowded design. Another that left deliberate gaps where light could pass through. The tapestry does not demand completion. Its beauty lies in the breathing room between strands. As you rest against it, the threads brush your skin like cool silk, each contact loosening a small tether inside you, plans loosely held, outcomes gently released, futures allowed to remain soft. Another section unfolds beside the first, revealing subtler openings, conversations woven to a certain richness and then left to hang, creations finished enough to satisfy the maker but not the world, loves that expanded into space rather than density. The tapestry sways in a breeze that has no source, each movement drawing your breath into its rhythm until your chest rises and falls with the same unhurried grace. Your thoughts thin into individual threads that drift upward and join the weave without resistance. Sleep waits in the widest fold, not as absence but as the purest expanse between strands, vast and welcoming. You feel your own open possibilities woven loosely among the rest, neither tight nor frayed, simply part of the gentle pattern. The mist threads begin to soften further, losing distinct edges until the entire tapestry feels like one slow inhalation. Let the folds continue their quiet swaying, cradling you in endless spacious weave until you settle into the open heart where all possibilities left open shimmer together in perfect, unfinished cloth. A low, continuous warmth rises from below, the temperature of sun-baked stone long after sunset. The warmth shapes itself into vast, shallow basins carved into dark rock, each basin containing a single, unfinished destiny resting like clear water at the bottom. One basin tilts gently toward you, its contents catching the faint light. A life that curved away from expected summits to follow a quieter valley. Another that pooled in small, deep places rather than spreading wide. Another that chose the warmth of familiar ground over distant horizons. The destiny does not evaporate or overflow. It rests content in its contained shape, reflecting the stone's calm. The warmth reaches your feet first, then rises slowly along your legs, melting every small tension that had pooled there during the day. Another basin forms nearby, smaller and more intimate, moments when ambition softened into appreciation, seasons when striving gave way to simple being, choices to remain rather than pursue. The rock itself begins to breathe in long, slow cycles, each expansion lifting you slightly, each contraction settling you deeper into the basin's curve. Your pulse aligns with this ancient rhythm, growing broader and less frequent. Sleep gathers in the very center of each basin, not deeper water, but denser warmth, drawing you downward with infinite patience. You sense your own unfinished destiny, resting in its own shallow basin somewhere across the dark expanse, glowing faintly, neither shallow nor deep, simply right. The warmth thickens until it feels like resting inside the memory of a perfect afternoon. Let the basins continue their gentle tilting, adjusting to hold every contour perfectly, until you become part of the warm stone where all unfinished destinies rest together in endless, contained peace. The space condenses into countless small, perfect spheres of silence orbiting a common center that is not a point, but a feeling. Each sphere is a story that continues beyond its apparent end, its surface smooth and slightly warm to the touch. One sphere slows and opens like a flower made of quiet, inviting you inside where you find yourself in a round room with no doors, walls lined with soft impressions of ongoing narratives, a friendship that transformed rather than concluded, a pursuit that shifted direction without regret, a sorrow that evolved into quiet strength over time. The story does not loop or resolve. It simply continues in the roundness, every direction leading deeper into itself. The silence presses gently from all sides, equal and reassuring, until your body feels perfectly centered, every part equidistant from peace. Another sphere merges without seam, expanding the room and adding new impressions. Creations that outgrew their original form, relationships that found new expressions across distance, lives that kept writing themselves in invisible ink. The orbiting slows until the spheres appear motionless, yet you feel the continuation in your bones, slow, steady, inevitable. Your breath becomes perfectly spherical, expanding evenly in all directions before contracting into the same calm center. Sleep waits at the exact heart of the merged spheres, not as emptiness, but as the purest concentration of continuation, dense and welcoming. You feel your own ongoing story orbiting among them, its surface warm and seamless, turning gently without need for arrival. The silence deepens until it becomes the only remaining sensation. Let the spheres continue their perfect slowing dance, holding you in round after round of gentle expansion until you arrive at the quiet center, where all stories that continue rest together in endless spherical grace. A vast, soft settling begins, as though gravity itself has grown tired and decided to rest. The settling forms wide, shallow depressions in warm sand, each depression cradling a single unfinished journey glowing faintly beneath the surface. One depression widens to receive you, its sand shifting to accommodate every curve, until you are held as perfectly as a shell in tide-smoothed hollow. Beneath the thin layer of sand you sense the quiet journey, a path that meandered because straight lines felt dishonest, a pursuit that paused when wonder overtook ambition, a life that collected small, perfect moments instead of large achievements. The journey does not push forward, it rests content in its gentle indentation, complete in its refusal to become a trench. The warmth rises slowly through the sand, reaching your back first, then spreading outward until your entire body feels baked in gentle heat. Another depression forms nearby, shallower and longer, seasons of deliberate slowness, days when nothing happened, yet everything deepened, choices to circle rather than advance. The sand continues its minute adjustments, grains flowing to fill every small gap until you feel entirely supported, entirely allowed to remain exactly as you are. Your breath grows shallow and wide, matching the depression's gentle curve. Sleep gathers beneath the deepest layer of sand, not cooler but warmer, denser, drawing you downward grain by grain. You feel your own unfinished journey resting in its own soft hollow somewhere across the settling expanse, glowing quietly, neither hurried nor delayed. The warmth peaks and then holds steady, perfect for complete release. Let the sand continue its infinite small shifts, cradling you through endless, gentle settling until you become indistinguishable from the warm depression where all unfinished journeys rest together in perfect, quiet sand. A vast, quiet meadow of pale grass stretches under a sky that has no sun, yet glows with soft, even light. Within this meadow, unfinished soul stories exist as small, solitary trees, each one rooted, yet never striving to become a forest. One tree stands slightly apart, its branches low and welcoming, and as you lean against its smooth trunk, you feel the slow pulse of a life that chose depth over reach. Someone who read the same handful of books repeatedly until they became part of the blood. Another who tended a tiny balcony garden for decades instead of seeking grander land. Another who learned one instrument well enough to play for no audience but the evening air. The tree does not mourn its solitude. It thrives in the exact space it occupies, its leaves whispering only when a breeze remembers to pass. The grass beneath your feet warms gradually, rising through your soles and spreading upward until your legs feel rooted in the same unhurried way. Another tree grows nearby, younger and slimmer, offering quieter choices. Mornings devoted to watching light shift across a single wall, evenings spent tracing the same walk until every stone knew the footfall, years measured in the slow opening of one heart rather than many conquests. The meadow begins to sway in a motion too gentle to call wind, each blade bending just enough to brush your skin and release the day's last small burdens. Your breath widens to fill the open sky, drawing in the scent of cool grass and distant rain that never quite arrives. Sleep gathers among the roots, not underground, but woven through them, rich and loamy, waiting without demand. You sense your own unfinished soul, standing as its own quiet tree, somewhere across the meadow, neither taller nor shorter, simply present in the pale light. The glow softens until it feels like the memory of daylight held long after dusk. Let the meadow continue its endless, subtle sway, holding every tree in perfect solitude togetherness until you become part of the warm grass where all unfinished souls grow together in quiet, rooted peace. The darkness gathers into a single, immense bowl, turned upside down over the world, its inner surface smooth and faintly warm like pottery, fresh from the kiln. Within this bowl, eternal libraries rest as small piles of smooth river stones, each pile carefully balanced, yet never intended to become a wall. One pile shifts slightly as you approach, inviting you to add your weight without disturbing the balance. As you sit beside it, the stones share their quiet warmth. A life that collected small acts of kindness the way others collect achievements. Another that spoke only when words added something irreplaceable. Another that learned to leave rooms better than found without ever claiming credit. The pile does not seek height or permanence. It accepts its own modest curve, complete in its refusal to build. The bowl's curve presses gently overhead, containing without confining, until your sense of up and down softens into simple being held. Another pile forms nearby, lower and wider, offering subtler balances. Days when ambition was set aside like a coat at the door, seasons when listening replaced speaking, choices to carry only what could be held in two open hands. The stones begin to hum at a frequency felt in the sternum rather than heard, each vibration loosening the architecture of wakefulness until thoughts tumble gently into the pile. Your body settles deeper into the bowl's curve, every joint agreeing to rest exactly where it is. Sleep waits beneath the lowest stone, not hidden, but integrated, dense and smooth, drawing you downward stone by stone. You feel your own eternal library balanced among the others, neither precarious nor overbuilt, simply right. The warmth peaks and then holds steady, perfect for complete surrender. Let the bowl continue its quiet containment, cradling every modest pile in endless, curved embrace until you become indistinguishable from the warm stones where all eternal libraries rest together in perfect, balanced pause. A vast, slow river of dark glass flows without sound, its surface reflecting no stars because the stars are beneath it, suspended in perfect depth. Upon this river drift small, flat barges of pale wood, each one carrying a single, soothing silence that has chosen not to speak further. One barge glides to a stop alongside you, its deck warm from inner light. And as you step aboard, you feel the gentle weight of a life that learned to sit with mystery. Someone who watched the same river for years without needing to name its destination. Another who kept certain memories unshared because sharing would have made them smaller. Another who practiced gratitude in private until it became the air breathed. The silence does not feel empty. It feels full to the gunwales, complete in its refusal to overflow. The glass river rocks the barge in the slowest possible cradle, each motion drawing your spine into perfect alignment with rest. Another barge drifts near, narrower and longer, carrying quieter silences, evenings when music was turned off to hear the house settle, mornings when coffee was drunk without conversation, years when inner growth happened in the dark like mushrooms. The barges begin to arrange themselves in loose, drifting lines, their combined warmth creating soft currents of air that brush your skin and release the day's final small noises. Your breath becomes part of the river's flow, long and effortless, carrying thoughts downstream where they dissolve harmlessly into glass. Sleep gathers beneath the barge's keel, not deeper water but denser silence, drawing you downward plank by plank. You sense your own soothing silence drifting on its own small barge nearby, glowing faintly, neither ahead nor behind. The dark glass dims to the texture of perfect night. Let the river continue its soundless passage, carrying every barge in endless, patient drift until you settle into the suspended depths, where all soothing silences float together in quiet, luminous glass. The space resolves into countless thin, horizontal layers of warm fog, each layer a different shade of grey, separating and rejoining like breath on cold glass. Within these layers, uncompleted books exist as soft, irregular clouds that never quite form rain. One cloud condenses gently around you, its interior cool at first touch, then warming to body temperature. And as you breathe it in, you understand its quiet shape. A life that left certain ambitions to dissipate rather than condense, another that allowed dreams to remain vapor rather than forcing them into solid form, another that chose diffusion over definition because spread light felt truer. The cloud does not mourn its lack of edges, it celebrates its ability to fill any space offered. The fog layers begin to rise and fall in slow respiration, each cycle drawing you deeper into the cloud's soft center. Another cloud forms beside the first, lighter and more diffuse, offering subtler evaporations, plans that thinned into possibilities, promises kept in essence rather than letter, loves that spread wide rather than deep. The layers thicken until direction becomes meaningless, only the gentle expansion and contraction remaining. Your body loses its sense of weight, becoming mostly cloud itself, edges softening into grey. Sleep waits in the place where layers overlap most densely, not as darkness but as the richest concentration of fog, vast and welcoming. You feel your own uncompleted book drifting as its own irregular cloud somewhere within the layers, neither rising nor falling, simply permeating. The warmth holds steady, perfect for complete dissolution. Let the fog continue its endless breathing, carrying every cloud through cycles of almost rain, until you become part of the soft overlap where all uncompleted books exist together in perfect, diffused grey. A vast, quiet hearth of cool stone appears, its fire long since burned to perfect ash, yet still radiating the memory of warmth. Upon this hearth rest small, rounded loaves of pale bread, each one a perfect book left to rise only as far as it wished. One loaf sits slightly apart, its crust golden and cracked just enough to reveal the soft interior, and as you break it gently, the steam carries quiet impressions. A life that rose slowly in ordinary days, another that chose small daily kneading over grand proofs, another that accepted its own texture rather than forcing fluffiness. The loaf does not seek slicing or sharing. It rests content in its baked completeness, even if the center remains deliberately dense. The stone hearth warms your palms first, then spreads upward through wrists and arms until your chest feels filled with the same slow rising. Another loaf forms nearby, smaller and darker, offering subtler risings. Moments when effort was withheld to allow natural yeast. Seasons when patience replaced heat. Choices to remain slightly underproofed because overproofing felt false. The ash shifts in the faintest currents, reshaping itself to support every loaf perfectly without disturbing the crust. Your breath becomes part of the long-cooled fire, drawing in the scent of good bread and stone. Sleep gathers within the densest part of each loaf, not as crumb, but as the quiet space between air pockets, drawing you inward bite by bite. You sense your own perfect book resting on the hearth as its own small loaf, glowing faintly from inner warmth, neither over nor under, simply done when it felt done. The stone cools to the exact temperature of deep rest. Let the hearth continue its endless, patient holding, cradling every loaf in the memory of gentle heat, until you become indistinguishable from the warm ash where all perfect books rest together in quiet, baked peace.